Almost like all programming languages, Java uses variables to store data in memory. There are two types of variables or data types in Java, known as primitives and objects. Primitive variables or data types are used to store numbers, individual characters and Boolean values. They're stored in the fastest available memory, stack, so you can retrieve the data as quickly as possible. Data type names for primitives are all in lowercase, and that's how you can distinguish them from complex object data types, which always have an initial uppercase character. The unique type is a string. The string is not primitive type, that's a complex object. All variables in Java, whether primitives or objects, must be explicitly data typed when they are declared. Java is a statically typed language, unlike dynamic languages such as JavaScript or Python. All variables must have their types declared. Here's a classic declaration: int geek equals to 5. The first part of the declaration is the data type. It's saying this is an integer value, and once the variable set is an integer, it can't change. In JavaScript, for example, you can change the type in runtime. In Java, you can't do that, and that's because the compiler looks at this declaration and allocates memory for you based on the data type that you declare. The next part of the declaration is the variable identifier, or name. Java naming conventions require that variable names or identifiers always start with an initial lowercase character. Finally, the value is placed on the right side of the assignment operator, the equals operator. The first two parts of this declaration are required. You could simply say int geek and finish the statement with a semicolon, and that would be establishing the variable but not explicitly assigning its initial value. If you want to assign the initial value, you just add the equals operator and the initial literal value you're assigning. Here are the primitive data types for numbers, starting with the smallest amount of memory and going to the largest amount of memory. All primitive values are signed, meaning that their ranges extend from negative to positive numbers. The byte data type stores 8 bits of memory. Its minimum value is -128 and its maximum is +127. You also have short, int and long integers. Each of them takes an increasing amount of memory and has an increasing range. The most common of these data types that you'll see is the int. It's a 32-bit value and its range goes from -2 million to +2 million. If you need to store very large integers, you can use the long data type instead. There are two data types that you can use to store fractional values, float and double. Float is a 32-bit value and double is a 64-bit value. Once again, they both support minimum and maximum values in the negative and positive ranges, and you can look at the Java reference to see the exact values. Please click like and subscribe to my channel.